Avenged Sevenfold. The name rings as one of the most polarizing bands of their genre, but we can't deny the impact they've had in shaping the world of metal, especially at a time when it wasn't in. Avenged Sevenfold, also known as A7X, burst onto the scene like a comet, stirring up passionate discussions left and right. This is the story of Avenged Sevenfold, a band that defied expectations and forged their own path in the metal world. Love 'em or hate 'em, the band's journey has been nothing short of remarkable. The early years. Every legendary journey has humble beginnings, and Avenged Sevenfold's story is no different. A group of four passionate musicians, Matt Sanders, James Sullivan, Zachary Baker, and Matt Wendt, came together in 1999 to form Avenged Sevenfold. Although they were far from being a religious band, Matt came up with a name because he was inspired by the tale of Cain and Abel. Their journey began with a 3-song demo that caught the attention of Sadistic Records, leading to contributions on 2 compilations and the release of a second demo. It was this second demo that led them to the Belgian label Good Life Recordings. Recognizing the band's talent, they quickly signed Avenged Sevenfold and set the stage for their debut album, sounding the 7th trumpet. It was around this time that Matt Wendt left for college, and Justin Meacham, the previous bassist of Suburban Legends, joined Avenged Sevenfold. The band also welcomed lead guitarist Brian Hayner Jr. just in time for the album's recordings. The lineup for the band was solid and full of talent and creative stage names. M. Shadows, Zachy Vengeance, Justin Sane, Sinister Gates, and The Rev at this point. However, amidst the start of their rising success, the band faced a dark moment when bassist Justin attempted suicide, leaving him in poor condition and the band in a state of shock. Justin eventually had to leave the band. In an interview, Matt said, "When you have someone in your band who does that, it ruins everything that's going on around you and makes you want to do something to prevent it from happening to other people." This event led the band to join the Take Action Tour in 2003, with dear friend Frank Malcolm performing in place of Justin. All hope wasn't lost for the band. In 2002, Avenged Sevenfold signed with Hopeless Records. They were able to re-release their debut album with the label. In the same year, bassist Frank left the band, which paved the way for Brian and James's close friend Jonathan Seward, stage name Johnny Christ, to step into the bassist role. This completed their lineup that fans would grow to adore. With the help of their label, Avenged Sevenfold started to receive recognition, participating in Van's Warped Tour and performing with big bands such as Mushroomhead and Shadows Fall. Propelled to the top. With a new bassist in their ranks, Avenged Sevenfold released their second studio album, Waking in the Fallen, in August 2003. This highly anticipated album showcased a more polished and mature sound, setting it apart from their previous work. Garnering attention from industry giants like Billboard and the Boston Globe, the band found themselves in the spotlight once again. As the momentum continued to build for the band, they caught the eye of major record label Warner Brothers Records. In November 2003, they officially signed with the renowned label, marking a significant milestone in their career. Their single, Unholy Confessions, made waves, bringing Avenged Sevenfold to MTV2's Headbangers Ball. It's clear that Avenged Sevenfold was becoming more than just another band. They had a bright future ahead of them. The band reached the height of their career with the release of their third album, City of Evil, in 2005. The album broke away from the metalcore genre that Avenged Sevenfold was in. Instead, the band embraced a more classic metal sound accompanied by heavy guitars, earning the band widespread acclaim. City of Evil also marked a shift in the band's vocal approach. With the help of vocal coach Ron Anderson, Matt found a balance between grit and tone, which resulted in the distinct delivery that the album had. It wasn't only the album's experimental nature that catapulted them into the mainstream and on everyone's radar. Avenged Sevenfold wasn't playing a mainstream genre. At a time when heavier music was facing a downtrend and contemporary R&B was on the rise, the band carved their own path. Despite the sea of mainstream and popular acts, Avenged Sevenfold stood out with their bold musical style. Their standout track, Backcountry, propelled them to the forefront of the music scene, earning them Best New Artist title at the 2006 MTV Video Awards. Surprising many, the song, featuring an impressive guitar solo, triumphed over other popular acts, such as R&B singers Rihanna and Chris Brown, Panic at the Disco, Angels and Airwaves, and James Blunt. Their success against all odds marked a turning point, catapulting them to fame and worldwide recognition, also bringing heavy music back on the map. No longer confined to the fine print of tour lineups, Avenged Sevenfold now stood as headliners at events like Van's Warped Tour and Ozfest, alongside other heavy and popular bands like Dragon Force, System of a Down, and Disturbed. It's no surprise that City of Evil became the band's first gold record. 4 years after its release, the album was certified a much-deserved platinum. After more than a year of touring, the band returned to the studio to record new music. Although they knew that City of Evil gave a major success, they didn't want to mimic the sound it had. After all, Avenged Sevenfold was known to always experiment with their sound, while still remaining the distinct A7X sound. The next record was a self-titled album that strayed away from the heavy sound of City of Evil. The self-titled album explored traditional heavy metal and other genres like symphonic rock and experimental music. Because of the change in direction, the album was welcomed with mixed reviews, leaning towards more negative comments from different critics. However, despite the mixed reactions and negative reviews that the album got, it still managed to win the 2008 Album of the Year in Kerrang! Awards. Now Your Nightmare Comes to Life. Less than 2 years after the release of the band's self-titled album, Matt confirmed they were back in the studio, eager to craft a follow-up to their latest album. Excitement filled the air as they went on this new creative journey, eager to experiment with their sound and skills again. However, not everything went smoothly for the band. That's it. That's the last song for this record. Those were the words that the Rev, the band's drummer, said as he handed in his song Fiction. It was what they decided to be the last song for the next record. Little did everyone know, it was kind of a farewell from the talented drummer. 3 days later, the Rev was found dead at his home. The devastating blow left the band in shock and grief, leaving them on the brink of disbanding. The band suspended work on the album, but with the encouragement of the Rev's family, they decided to continue the album with a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that it was what the Rev wanted them to do. Not wanting to permanently replace the Rev, the band enlisted the help of Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater. The decision made sense since Mike was a significant influence on the Rev. In an interview, Matt and Sinister Gates said the album was dedicated to their late drummer. The new album, Nightmares, dedicated to the Rev's memory, and although it's not exactly a concept album, it does center around the Rev. 5 months after the band announced that they returned to the studio, the album was released. It was met with mixed reviews from critics, but overall positive reviews from fans. Unsurprisingly, the album debuted at #1 on the Billboard. After the album's release, Mike Portnoy and the band simultaneously posted statements saying that Mike would not be a replacement for the Rev. He did play with the band for a couple of shows, but Avenged Sevenfold later announced that Aaron Illahai would be their touring drummer for their promotional tour for the album. With the album's success, awards came for the band and album left and right. Avenged Sevenfold won several awards, such as Best Live Band and Most Dedicated Fans, which is a testament to their pure talent and unwavering support from their fans. The band began recording new material in 2013. It'd be the first Avenged Sevenfold record without any musical contributions from the late drummer The Rev. In an interview, Matt stated that the next album would be more blues rock influenced and more like classic rock or metal. The album, Hail to the King, was released in August 2013. It immediately charted at #1 on the US Billboard 200. It received favorable reviews from music critics. However, many fans were left disappointed with the musical direction the album took, and many metal elitists called the band a copycat of Metallica and other classic rock bands. Despite comments from netizens, the band moved forward. Only a year after Hail the King's release, the band confirmed they'd start working on a new album, Testing the Waters. A year later, the band announced on social media that they were parting ways with Aaron Illahai. They stated creative differences, but Matt said in different interviews after the incident that Aaron just didn't fit with the band in many aspects. The band didn't hide the fact they were testing the waters with a new drummer until they could find someone who was a great fit for them. The Rev, with all his genius and musical talent, was irreplaceable, but the band ultimately had to find someone who could bring out more from them. Eventually, after a year of working with them, the band announced that Brooks Wackerman would replace Aaron Illahai as the band's drummer. The Stage was released in October 2016 and was the first Avenged Sevenfold album that featured Brooks. The album was received with mixed to positive reviews from critics. However, many fans couldn't help but note that Avenged Sevenfold's sound became weaker, probably due to them still figuring out their sound without the Rev. Life is but a dream. In late 2017, the band revealed that they planned on working on the next album by the next year. The band took this next record seriously to the point that they took a whole year away from touring to focus on the record. While the band was working on their album, they worked on many different projects, reinventing the A7X world and how they interacted with their fan base. In 2021, the band launched a Discord channel where fans can interact with each other and the band members. Additionally, the band launched the Death Bats Club's NFTs in the same year. The Death Bats Club is the first of its kind. It's a collection of thousands of unique NFTs that are designed just like the band's logo, the Deathbat. Each Deathbat NFT is a membership card into the exclusive club, where fans can gain many perks from the metaverse in real life too. Avenged Sevenfold's the first band to ever do something like this to give their fans a more luxurious experience. With how busy the band got with their side projects, it wasn't until June 2023 that they released their latest album, Life Is But a Dream. This album marks the longest gap between the band's studio albums. Life Is But a Dream received claim from music critics for its themes, experimental approach, and blend of influences and genres. However, it wasn't as commercially successful as their previous albums. Their latest albums sparked the most diverse range of reactions among their fans, with many even announcing through forums and social media their departure from the fan base. With this album, Avenged Sevenfold, inspired by psychedelic drugs and Albert Camus' philosophy, took a very experimental approach, far from what they'd ever done before. However, it's what makes them, them. Avenged Sevenfold never stuck to just one sound. They've always been experimenting and changing their sound. Matt even firmly believes that it's disrespectful to the fans not to change your sound as a band. In an interview, he says, "I actually think it's disrespectful for the fans to just give them the same crap. And not that it's all crap, it's regurgitated." Despite all the hate and negative comments thrown at the band, Avenged Sevenfold just doesn't care. They continue to forge ahead, staying true to their artistic vision, the Avenged Sevenfold legacy. Avenged Sevenfold's legacy lies in their fearlessness to push the boundaries of music. They embrace and welcome experimentation and changes in their sound, which allows them to continuously evolve as artists. One thing's clear, no band in their generation has achieved as much as Avenged Sevenfold. Not many bands that came along with Avenged Sevenfold can say they've gained as much mainstream success as them. With each passing day, they strive to improve as musicians and songwriters, driven by a passion for their craft. However, it's not only in the realm of music creation and songwriting that Avenged Sevenfold continues to make waves in discussions. They're also looking to pioneer the future of the music industry with the use of NFTs and blockchain technology. While their journey into this new territory is still in its early stages, one thing's certain: Avenged Sevenfold will continue making headlines and pushing the boundaries of the music industry even further. There's no doubt that Avenged Sevenfold's left an indelible mark on the music industry. With their dedication to growth and their passion, they'll only continue to make a bigger impact in rock history. Their story and legacy prove the power of fearlessness, creativity, and resilience. They are and will inspire generations of artists to follow their lead and create their own unique paths.